This Thursday, September 18th, 2025. We call the meeting to order at 7:03 PM and ask our clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Martinez,
Present.
Trustee Kagan,
Present.
Trustee Annalise,
Present.
Trustee Nekovar,
Present.
Trustee Page,
Present.
Mayor Cunningham.
Present.
Quorum established.
Thank you very much. This evening, if you would please join us for a moment of silence, and we will dedicate our meeting to a longtime Woodridge neighbor who really loved the spirit of Woodridge and devoted much time to being part of the church and our village. So I'd like to dedicate this meeting in Jack Ween's honor. And we're now sending our deepest sympathies and condolences to his wife and his son, their family, and their neighbors. So if you would please join me in a moment of silence and appreciation and sympathies for the Ween family. I thank you all for that remembrance for Mr. Ween. And now we'll move to the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm going to ask we have a wonderful group in the front row, our CERT team here. I'm going to ask if they would please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So again, thank you very much for being here. We do have several special recognitions items that we'd like to present this evening. And first is our CERT recognition. And we do have a proclamation. I've asked Trustee Annalise to please read that proclamation for all of us.
Whereas communities are often the first responders in the immediate aftermath of a disaster, and individual preparedness is critical to the resilience of our entire community. And whereas the Community Emergency Response Team, CERT, program educates and trains community volunteers in essential disaster preparedness and response skills, including fire safety, light search and rescue, disaster medical operations, and team organization. And whereas CERT members provide vital support to professional emergency responders by assisting their families and neighbors until professional help can arrive, particularly when communications and access are disputed. And whereas these dedicated volunteers donate their time and energy to participate in training exercises, public education events, and other efforts that strengthen our community's ability to withstand and recover from emergencies. And whereas the CERT program fosters a culture of preparedness and empowering citizens to take an active role in their own safety and the safety of those around them. Now, therefore, Gina Cunningham, Mayor of the Village of Woodridge, DuPage, Will, and Cook Counties, Illinois, and on behalf of the Board of Trustees and the citizens of Woodridge, do hereby recognize the Woodridge Volunteer Corp Community Emergency Response Team. By virtue of her office, do hereby declare and proclaim the week of September 14th through the 20th, 2025, as Woodridge Volunteer Corp's Community Emergency Response Team, CERT, National Recognition Week.
Thank you very much, Trustee Annalise, for reading that into the record. And it's my honor to welcome our CERT team that is here with us, as well as their volunteer coordinator, which is Trustee Curtis Nekovar. And Curtis, at the podium, I know you're going to say a few words, but you'll have the proclamation there that I'd ask that you please share with the CERT team. It is our honor in Woodridge. We do recognize the Volunteer Corps and CERT all together. It really is an honor to have you all here this evening. We thank you for serving our community in emergencies and far beyond that. We are just delighted to have you all here this evening. And Curtis, I know we'll have a presentation here for us.
Well, I'm getting to start, and thank you, Mayor and fellow trustees, for the opportunity to present the team officially. We're going in, will be 3 years this October that the team's been around. So it's the recognition, it was well-deserved, and it was a good opportunity to actually introduce the team. While I'm getting the presentation up, if the team wants to stand up and introduce themselves, that'd be great.
Well, I'd like to definitely welcome everyone, and if someone wouldn't mind maybe starting us off. Great, hello and welcome. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hi. Stacy Page. Hey, wonderful. Good to see you. Hi there. Hi. Sarah Bass.
Denise Casserly.
Denise.
Denise Kraft.
David Johnson.
Mike Tennis.
Mark Dwyer. Bill Creed.
And I think we have about 3 members that couldn't make it this evening. So we're about 15 now, 15 on the team. I can't speak highly enough about this group. It's a fun group to be with, and a very dedicated group, as you'll see here in the presentation. So what exactly is CERT? So CERT is a nationally supported program, and the proclamation pretty much speaks to a lot of it. It's locally implemented to teach people to prepare themselves for emergencies. Train in basic disaster response skills is not only the public, but that's what we are going through. To organize and train local teams, perform basic response activities. So if, heaven forbid, the tornado struck again, this group could quickly deploy and assist emergency service wherever needed. If it was going door to door, knocking on doors, whatever it might be. The big key here is to free up professional responders. That's the idea behind the CERT team, is your resources, police resources, fire resources, instead of having them sit, let's say, on an intersection directing traffic, is to free that resource up to go take care of calls for service, emergency calls for service, and put a CERT volunteer on that intersection and participate in emergency preparedness activities. We have done a couple. We did a point of distribution in Lisle and assisted with that. So that was a good lesson for, heaven forbid, we have to do something like that again. But some of our members have gone out to New Lenox and participated in their mass casualty disaster drill. So they've also done that. And the motto of CERT is to do the greatest good for the greatest number. So if, again, there was, heaven forbid, a disaster, the team is trained to assess and keep moving. Instead of stopping, you come across that first victim and you sort of key in on them, you assess, you get what they need, and you move on, because it's the greatest good for the greatest number. If you stop at that one person, there could be 99 beyond them that need assistance. So the history of CERT, it actually started in Los Angeles Fire, and they, because they had so many disasters, earthquakes, landslides, all the other stuff that they had and unfortunately still have, they started to do research in disaster responses. They went to Mexico and Japan. Japan, they found, was very regimented. They had trained citizens that came out and assisted in disasters. And in Mexico, it was the same thing. People came out to assist, but unfortunately, they were not trained. And what they found is it just complicated things, because now you have a bunch of untrained people that have good intentions, but wind up getting hurt or injured themselves. And now you've just added to the what you already had. So they did their first pilot program in '86. There was an earthquake shortly after where they deployed, and in 1993, it actually got taken over by FEMA as a national CERT program. So that's the program that we're under, but this actually went back to LAFD as the first one that organized the program. Our program development here, so the Father's Day tornado in 2021 sort of really shone the light that a team like this was needed. You could have used probably 10, 15 teams that could be out there. But we had some conversations prior to that about the need in Woodridge, but Chief Cunningham at the time reached out, and we decided to put something together. So we established in October of 2022. A lot of these members are the original members. We took the CPA alumni and graduates, and that was our first core group that we focused on. We've grabbed some people from each CPA academy since then. We're also starting to get some people outside of the CPA that have heard about the team and are joining the team. We also sent members to become CERT instructors. So now we can do our in-house training, and that's actually what we're going through now. And the CERT basic training is now being done for all members. And just initially when we did the WVC, we were just going to be that organization. We didn't see a need for CERT. The more that we looked into the standardized training and everything else, that's the direction we decided to go. And in May of last year, we were officially recognized as a CERT team by IEMA and FEMA. So what are we? All volunteer, community-based emergency preparedness organization. We're under the umbrella of the police department. We have a liaison through there that works with us and our team. Our primary mission is to provide support to the Woodridge community, emergency service personnel during emergencies, and increase disaster readiness, training, educating individuals. I'll talk about the 72-hour kit as an example of the training our citizens and other individuals. In an emergency, we support the first responders, traffic control, crowd control, monitoring utilities. Let's say we have a downed wire. Again, we can free up a fire resource and put a CERT volunteer until ComEd can get out there. Helping evacuate, light search and rescue, basic first aid. And that this is, again, all part of our training. Administrative roles is if we set up an emergency phone bank, for example, you could use CERT volunteers to handle the phone bank. Assisting with EOC operations is very common as like a scribe or a runner or other things in an emergency operations center. Or if we opened up a shelter, a lot of teams are used to set up the shelter and then manage the shelter because, again, frees up your resources. If you use your police and your fire personnel, that's people you're taking off of the street to put into the shelter. And then helping individuals to help their families and neighbors. Not only prepare, but respond and recover within their own neighborhood. And that's key. You saw it in the wildfires. In some of the wildfires in California, they actually had pseudo fire departments within the neighborhood. And they were like frontline fighting. There just was no firemen left. So this also plays into if we had a disaster where you start worrying about your own neighborhood because maybe resources can't get there quick enough and checking on your neighbors. In our non-emergency, we do community events, Jubilee, National Night Out, 4th of July, the Haunted Forest Walk, Winterfest. We have gone mutual aid into Downers Grove for Rotary Fest the past 3 years. We also help at the Grove Express, the Thanksgiving 5K in Downers Grove. We're going out to Palos Park this Saturday to help with their parade. We've had volunteers in LaGrange for the pet parade. So we're assisting other communities, and that's going to pay dividends when, heaven forbid, we do have a disaster. Those teams will now come and help us on a mutual aid basis. So our training, the CERT training that I talked about, so it's in 8 units. So the disaster preparedness, CERT organization, medical operations, that's what we're currently in. We're going into the medical operations starting in a couple of weeks here, and it's basic first aid. Disaster psychology, fire safety, search and rescue, terrorism, and CERT. And then on the top of that, we also do annual CPR training, annual weather spotter training, and traffic control. So our service to community, we came around in 2022, so late 2022. In 23, we did 241 hours combined, 610 hours last year. We're currently at 505, and I think we're going to probably come out probably 750, between 750 and 1,000 hours this year. There's actually the independent sector organization, and for any volunteer organization, they actually place a dollar amount on volunteer time. And it's pretty interesting when you calculate out I don't know that it's a cost savings, but in 2024, our volunteer hours were an equivalent of $21,205. The 72-hour kit, it's actually out in the lobby, so if anybody has a chance to go take a look at it, what this is it could be called a go bag, a bug out bag. It's stuff that you would need for 72 hours. So if we were told that we had to evacuate, we have bins for ours. Some people use backpacks, and it's just self-sufficient items that you would need, and it's stuff that you just don't think about. There's actually flyers back there as well on a checklist of stuff to put in that kit. And it's, cash is like one thing. Nobody really has cash anymore. You use a credit card or a debit card, but, if the machines are down, you need cash, medication, stuff like that. If you have pets, stuff for the pets. If you have infants, stuff for the infants that you would need. So joining the team, be a Woodridge resident or surrounding areas. We initially first organized, we were just strictly Woodridge. In talking to other teams, they said you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket because if something happened here, you could take everybody out of play because they're taking care of their own homes or neighbors. So we opened it up to adjacent communities. 14 years of age, we actually have one young member on our team, B. Baxter, Sarah's daughter. Complete the CERT, and they do have to have parent or legal guardian to participate. So we just don't take children just by themselves. Complete the CERT basic training program, CPR and basic first aid training, build a 72-hour kit, rules and regulations by the village, the IS training of 200, 100, and 700, pass a background check, and participate in the final class drill and written exam. There is, just to put in perspective what a CERT team can do, if we think about the Highland Park shooting, their CERT team was working the parade route. Their CERT team was the first responders on the scene. They were right along that parade route, and we have fanny packs, we have backpacks that we carry, has basic first aid equipment, and they were put right into, they were the front line until the other responders could get in there. So our team website, there's our link to the team website. You can actually get it through the village website under My Government Police Department. And there's also a generic email that goes to several of us. So if there's any questions, if you want to join the team, there's all information up on the website for that. And I thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So we wanted to do this for quite some time, and I thank you all for being here and volunteering and all the dedication and the service that you've already done throughout our community and far beyond Woodridge. And I love the information shared. The first organization that we met after the tornado was the American Red Cross. I see your materials are right from them, and working hand in hand with the police department and resources such as this is utterly amazing. It will definitely help, with any emergency, but also saving lives and helping people. So thank you all so very much. I'd like to invite you up so we can come up and take a picture together. Jamie, thank you very much for offering to do that. You want to come down this way? I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, if you all go in, I can get all of you. If any of the board members want to be in it. Unless, okay, all right, drop it. Thank you. Hold the close just. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you very much. We'll make sure that we'll have additional information available on our website and social media. And we congratulate everyone and thank everyone for your service to the Village of Woodridge and our neighbors and community and far beyond. We do have, we're going to continue. So we do have an introduction of our newest Public Works colleague. So I'd invite up Director Bethel and Nicholas. Welcome and good evening.
Thank you, Mayor and Board. This is Nick Stivey, our newest maintenance worker, started with us in mid-August. Now, you all know Foreman Scott Ceramic is going to be retiring the end of this month after 35 years. What you may not know is Scott is our basketball ringer, where anytime we have a free throw contest, Scott wins. So we were extremely happy when Nick came on board and won our free throw contest a couple weeks ago with the Village. So he's gonna fit right in. So he comes to us with a great deal of experience. He was at the Downers Grove Sanitary District for a number of years in their building and grounds group. He was a supervisor with the snow plowing and lawn service, and most recently as a carpenter and actually working on the River's Edge units here in Woodridge. He's got a great deal of experience. We actually started him in our facilities group as we start to get him some experience in our other operational areas. And he lives right here in town. So also, again, a great resource when we have an urgent call out. So we're really pleased with him. He's the one who's actually checking to make sure boardroom temperatures are good before meetings as well. So if you like it hotter or colder, Nick is going to be the guy to talk to. So thank you, Mayor.
Oh, thank you and welcome, Nick. So nice to meet you. And I wasn't sure where he was going with the ringer, but then I kind of figured by the height, we do welcome you and thank you for being our newest member of Public Works. Going to have many, many years here of wonderful service in our community and being a valued team member. So we welcome you to the family on behalf of all of us in our grateful community.
Thank you.
Again, nice meeting you. Congratulations. Okay, we'll now move to the comments from the public portion of our meeting. And during this time, we are going to, first of all, just share that the Panattoni annexation agreement, and I know that there is a motion to continue, or that's what we'll be considering, the public hearing for the Panattoni annexation agreement to our October 2nd regular board meeting. So it is my understanding that staff is recommending that the public hearing relating to this proposed Panattoni office warehouse development and the related annexation petition on Davie Road be continued again to our October 2nd meeting. So they are going to ask for a motion to continue this public hearing to our October 2nd meeting. A motion, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Trustee Page. A second.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Martinez. Would our clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kagan. Trustee Annalise.
Aye.
Trustee Nekovar.
Aye.
Trustee Page.
Aye.
Trustee Martinez.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. So now we're going to pause to acknowledge any written public comments that have been received prior to our meeting that do not relate to tonight's agenda. And if so, we would enter those into the public record. Administrator Stonich, please.
Thank you, Mayor. There are several relating to the Village Greens Golf Course. Douglas Molina, Blake Osborne, Jim Strafashi, Jerome Massetti, Bill Mars, Roy Lindgren, Sarah Frigo, Michael Zubek, Linda Puetz, Jung Choi, Don Blair, Donna Serlin, Deanne and Ken Grant, Patrick O'Donnell, Jeff Cortez, Katie Rataj, Sharon Arkia, Corey Hudson, Cynthia Lindstrom, Nancy Newsback, John Park, David Podderbarrick, Julie Sweet, and also Barb Ortman and Kevin Doyle. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we've all received those already as board members. So now I'm going to ask if there's any members of the public that are here this evening that would like to address the village board. And again, we would invite you up to the podium if so. Hi, good evening. Come on up. That's okay. Yes, yeah.
It's for anything that's not on the agenda. Yes, there'll be a separate time to talk for things that are on the agenda.
Are you wanting to speak on the agenda item? Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. We'll get back to you shortly. So thank you very much. So here, if you are here this evening and you'd like to speak on the proposed electric bicycle and scooter ordinance, you will have an opportunity to make a public comment to the board in just a moment or two, and that item will appear shortly. So I would kindly ask that you hold your comments until that time, and we will make sure that we have you come up at that point. So aside from the proposed e-bike, e-scooter ordinance, are there any members of the public? And I think we just went through that. Doesn't seem like there is anyone, so we will go ahead. Going to now ask to acknowledge any written public comments that have been received prior to tonight's meeting that relate to our agenda this evening.
Mayor, we've not received any written comments on any other items that relate to the agenda other than e-bikes, which we'll address those later on in the agenda.
Wonderful. Ma'am, I just want to clarify your comment. Is it related to the e-bikes or? Okay, all right, wonderful. So we'll get to you just in a moment. Okay, that's okay. No worries. Thank you very much. So all items we'll be discussing here in just a moment, but I do want to have our administrator to clarify the e-bike and e-scooter ordinance. You've gone through everything that we've received up until this point. Is there anything else?
Yes, we have several to enter into the record. We can do so now or at the, when we get to that item, Mayor, it's up to you.
No, it's, let's just go ahead and let's just address it. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. So we have several here. Sharon Pfister, Karen Barth, David Allen, Brenda Mendoza, and Aaron Storr. And then there are also a couple comment cards here as well.
Okay. Thank you. So we're going to move right ahead and ask if there is anyone that does have a public comment that is related to the e-scooter, e-bike, in addition to what we have received already today. We had a study session, and that was the subject matter of our study session. Okay.
First speaker, Aaron. Please approach the podium. Thank you.
Good evening, and we thank you for being here tonight.
So the way things go is that you'll identify yourself by your name and address, and then you'll have 3 minutes to speak. I'll tell you when you're getting kind of close.
Okay. This is my first time at a board meeting. Hi.
Well, we welcome you. Fine.
Okay. Yeah.
Identify
So I'm going to, I'm
your
sorry.
name and address.
First name Aaron, last name Annarella, and my address is 2900 North Creek Drive in Woodridge. And my public comment is, as a mom of a 13-year-old boy and all of his friends, I am really, really, really tired of motorized vehicles on our public streets, on our sidewalks even, and I think they're incredibly dangerous. As a matter of fact, my son's friend at Jefferson Middle School was out of school for a week because he was going on his scooter. No, it was an e-bike, and it was probably around like 30 miles an hour on the side of 83rd Street that is paved, so it's a paved bike lane, and hit a little bump, and it's a very nice bike lane, so it's not like it's all cracked or anything. Hit a bump, flew off of it because he's going that fast. He's going to go almost double that fast when he flies off. Broke his wrist, broke his ankle, got a huge, scrape here, down the side. And it's happening over and over and over again. I was driving on 83rd Street in the turn lane to go north on Woodridge Drive. There were kids clearly under the age of 16 in the turning lane on the street at the light, thinking that they were following traffic, that were going with the cars. It was so dangerous. Didn't have lights on the front of the bikes, couldn't see them. They could have gotten killed. They could have put that on someone else's back who could have killed them, not seen them, and so on. It's like these kids are going 30 miles an hour. I'm driving down Janes Avenue. There's a kid on a scooter who's literally, I'm like, okay, I'm going to look. I look, he's going as fast as my car. I'm going 32 miles an hour down Janes Avenue, and I'm like, this kid is right with me. No helmet, no nothing. And it's like, I don't know when it stops. And as a parent, as someone who cares about kids and their safety, my own kid and his safety, I'm not buying my kid a bike. He's not allowed to ride anybody else's. I know he's going to do it. But these vehicles should be like out in the farmland. They're dirt bikes. When I grew up, they were dirt bikes. And now they're on public land. And they are a hazard to themselves, to other people, and it is just enough. And I don't think that anyone who doesn't have a driver's license should be able to be on a motorized vehicle with or without a helmet. I think it's dangerous. I think when is enough enough? And I think that we have to stop it.
Give 30 seconds.
And that's it. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Next, Mayor Sharon Pfister.
Good evening, Sharon.
Hello.
Sharon Pfister, 6520 Double Eagle Drive, Woodridge. I would just like to respond to this lady right here. The classifications of true e-bikes are regulated by Illinois Vehicle Code. There's 3 of them. Class 1 and Class 2 do not go any faster than 20. They can't. They're not engineered to do that. And the Class 3 is top of 28. So my feeling is I believe that these dangerous, out of class, not covered by the state of Illinois are the vehicles that you might have seen and that we've all seen and have been the result of underage drivers or riders and riding these things that are not allowed anywhere in the state of Illinois. And I believe that what the board is voting on today are true e-bikes and e-scooters, which don't go more than 10 miles an hour. So these problem ones, again, is the reason all the villages are passing the ordinances. But in fact, that description or that delineation has finally been made that these troublesome vehicles are not the true e-bikes. So that's all I have to say. I don't know what else to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Next card, David Allen, do you wish to make it? Okay, all right. Barbara, is Barbara still here? No, okay. And James Cassandras. Ask Eric, I'm not sure. Yeah.
Again, please, sir, identify yourself by name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes.
My name is James Castrantis. I live on 8314 Frost Court here in Woodridge. And everyone likes e-bikes. They're fun to get around. Scooters are great. My biggest concern is figuring out at this point, I know we're probably not going to completely ban the things, but how do you figure out ways to reduce risk? Like kids are riding these things in streets, on sidewalks. I don't want my child to get hit by someone someone zooming by going 15 on a sidewalk. It's like, well, it's not really that safe. I don't even want to go bike riding with my kids down the sidewalks because I don't want someone on an e-bike or a scooter coming up 20 miles an hour behind us and he's on training wheels. And I'm like, well, we got to move out of the way so they could zip by us. It just doesn't feel great. And then as a resident, I'm sitting here like, well, how do we do enforcement? What consequences are people going to face? I have no idea. That's the part I want to figure out and see. I've looked at the proposed agenda of having a fine of anywhere between $25 and $50, but that's not much. These e-bikes are $300 to $500. What's a $20 fine? So it's hard to find ways to just enforce these things. And I think that's the biggest part of it. I don't want to see a kid get hit. I don't want to hit a kid on one of these things. And I wouldn't want that to happen to anyone here in this room. We all care about people's safety, and we just want to make sure that everyone's being safe out there and just finding ways to just manage this problem that every community has to deal with. It's painful in other places too. It's just trying to figure out what to do is hard. So thank you.
Thank you, James. I did see your hand up, Erin. I need to let you know it's one time, however, she could.
That's it.
Right, yes. So we do have the comment card that you filled out earlier. You could fill that out again, but we will not be discussing it tonight. And it is a discussion item that we will be proposing in just a moment. So, okay. All right. So again, thank you all for being here very much. And I thank the board and the police department and our chief for reviewing this item for months. That we have really diligently, with a lot of public input and guidance, and review work done by the village and our administration team, along with the chief and the police department. Thank everyone very much for the diligence and the excellent work that we will be looking at here in just a moment. But right now, we're going to move to our omnibus agenda. Going to ask the village board, please, to accept items A through C. Going to ask for a motion, please. Thank you. Did I hear trustee Antilles' motion and a second by trustee Martinez? Is there a request for any item to be considered separately this evening? Seeing none, if our administrator would please review the items for us on the omnibus.
Thank you, Mayor. There are 3 items. A, B, and C are all prior board meeting minutes. Thank you.
Okay. Going to ask our clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Kagan. Trustee Antilles.
Aye.
Trustee Nekovar.
Aye.
Trustee Page.
Aye.
Trustee Martinez.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much, and we're going to move right along to our reports. I'm actually going to skip my report this evening. Please, I don't have it prepared here in my hand, so I apologize, but it will be available on all of our social media. But Administrator Stonich, we turn to your report.
Thank you. Item A is ordinance 2025-29. It's electric bicycle and scooter ordinance, and Chief Stephenson is here to present.
All right, good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you tonight on the proposed ordinance and this third iteration of what we're talking about tonight. Begin with some definitions. I think that's always very helpful because this does get a touch confusing as we go through it. So an e-scooter, and these are strictly from Illinois Vehicle Code. It's a scooter that weighs less than 100 pounds. It can have 2 or 3 wheels. It's equipped with handlebars and a standing floorboard. It can be propelled by either electric motor or human power, and they have a maximum speed of no more than 10 miles per hour. If it has a maximum speed of 10 miles per hour or more, it's not considered an e-scooter under Illinois law. An e-bike is a bicycle equipped with fully operable pedals, includes an electric motor rated under 750 watts, and falls under one of the 3 classifications that we'll speak about in a minute that are defined in the Illinois Vehicle Code. And these are designed for both electric assist and manual pedaling, depending on the user. Again, the IBC definition of a low-speed electric bike is a bicycle equipped with a fully operable pedals, electric motor of less than 750 watts that meets the requirements of one of these following classes. A Class 1 e-bike is a low-speed electrical bicycle equipped with a motor that provides pedal assist only while the rider is actively pedaling and automatically stops providing assistance once the bicycle reaches a maximum speed of 20 miles per hour. Class 2 is a low-speed electric bicycle equipped with a motor that can exclusively propel the bicycle without pedaling and automatically stops providing assistance, again, when the bicycle reaches a speed of 20 miles per hour. A Class 3 is very similar to Class 1 as it provides the motor provides assistance while the rider is pedaling. However, at this point on this bike, it stops assisting once the bicycle reaches a top speed of 28 miles per hour. Based off village board feedback from our August 7th meeting, was to allow these on bike paths. We do not want to overregulate the issue. Let's stay consistent with the Illinois Vehicle Code to make it less confusing for our users. But they want that combined with a robust public communication on the ordinance, what's allowed, what's not allowed. And part of that robust public communication would be working with local school districts to inform parents and guardians of the ordinance and what's allowed and what's not allowed and the ages involved of these for use of these devices. Some of the highlights from the proposed ordinance: again, minimum age to operate a low-speed electric or gas bicycle is 16 years of age. Minimum age to operate a low-speed electric scooter is 18 years of age. This is where we deviate a little bit from the Illinois Vehicle Code under our ordinance, where we're going to require, or the proposed ordinance would be Department of Transportation approved helmets required for all operators 21 years of age or under. Again, this is a bit of a change. This next one, we're going to allow e-bikes on bike paths, multi-use paths using motorized power. E-scooters will be allowed on sidewalks as well as bike paths, multi-use paths. However, e-bikes would not be allowed on sidewalks, and that is consistent with the Illinois Vehicle Code. All standard traffic laws applies to the riders of e-bikes, e-scooters, mopeds, gas bicycles. That's the teeth for our enforcement of violations. Mirroring Illinois Vehicle Code, any device that has a motor of 750 watts or over, or off-highway motorcycles or dirt bikes on public property, that's not allowed. And we also clarify that these rules do not apply to motorized wheelchairs or personal mobility devices used by individuals with disabilities. Excuse me, again, IBC versus an ordinance as far as e-bikes go, again, on sidewalks, manual use only. And that could be an e-bike, but you can't use the motor. You got to pedal it yourself if you're on a sidewalk. And then again, on bike paths, bike lanes, shared use paths, yes, that's all allowed. Roads are allowed, except with the exception of state highway, designated state highways, which is not allowed under Illinois Vehicle Code. IBC versus ordinance as far as e-scooters go. Again, we're going to mirror the IBC, allowed for use on sidewalks, bike lane, bike path, shared use paths, and roadways that have a posted speed limit of 35 miles per hour or under. If the roadway is posted 40 miles per hour, they are not allowed out there. And this is where I think it's maybe important to kind of point out that currently the village and the park district don't align on their ordinances. And some of the bike paths are owned by the village of Woodridge. Some of the bike paths are owned by the Woodridge Park District. I've been in communication with the Park District Director Knitter to let her know of the proposed ordinance that's coming forth tonight. And based off tonight's results, they may be considering an ordinance change to bring theirs into alignment to make it less confusing for the users of the bike paths. I anticipate having a call with Director Knitter tomorrow morning on this. Sure. Again, just to kind of cover some of the prohibited uses. E-bikes, low speed gas bikes are not permitted on sidewalks. Unlawful for a parent or guardian to permit a minor child to violate a provision of the ordinance. So that means if we catch a minor child on a e-scooter where they're not supposed to be, we can take enforcement action against the child, but we can also take enforcement action against the parents. And that will be, I think, really part of our communication efforts to the community based off what happens this evening. It prohibits the use of any bike with a 750 watt or great motor on any street, roadway, alley, sidewalk, path, parking lot, or public property. And again, it prohibits the use of any off-highway motorcycle or dirt bike, as they're commonly called, on any street, roadway, alley, sidewalk, path, parking lot, or public property. And that is aligned with Illinois Vehicle Code. Implementation, again, I think this is a very, very important part, especially based off board feedback. In-person contact and engagement. Our intent is if whatever ordinance is passed, if we see people out that are violating the ordinance, we're going to do an education piece. I envision some sort of pamphlet that kind of presents the highlights of the ordinance as what's allowed and what's not allowed, presented to the person, and we will get them into compliance with the ordinance, as well as working with our communications person, have a robust social media, e-news focused newsletter, electronic message board, water bill brief, and website to really get this information out there. Because we want to give the motoring public an opportunity to learn the ordinance and understand it and comply with it. This is just a kind of example of some of the public education that we're considering. This is from the city of Elmhurst. This was posted on their website, on their social media. I believe there's handouts that were given downtown areas on e-scooters, e-bikes, rules of the road, e-classifications, because Elmhurst did have some issues over the summer. The second part of what we're working on tonight is a proposed or change to the penalties. And before I start, any questions from the board on that?
Thank you. Any questions from any board members at this point?
No? Okay, thanks.
Chief, I just want to clarify a couple of things, please. So you had referenced the off-schedule bikes.
Yes.
Right? Okay. In the public comment that you heard earlier, someone going 30, 40 miles an hour on a bike, that's a bike that, again, That's not one of the bikes that's being regulated tonight. And the reason why that bike's not being regulated tonight, because it's already unpermitted.
Correct.
It's already illegal. So if
Yes.
an officer saw someone riding a bike that was motorized bike that was capable of going 30 miles or 40 miles an hour, or is riding on a state road such as 75th Street or a major road like that, those are things that are already illegal and they could be cited for that. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
Thank you.
Sure. Well, the other proposed ordinance tonight is some a change in some of the penalties. So our proposed ordinance amends the current fine structure related to our bicycle ordinance, which this would be an amendment to. We are proposing a $30 fine for all violations. That amount is consistent with other police enforced sections of our current police enforced sections of our village code, which I think is pretty reasonable. Just for an example, a recent Darien ordinance states that they're going to fine you no less than 25, but they could fine you up to $750 for a violation. To give it some more teeth, if there's a second or third violation within a 12-month period, a second violation would add a $15 fine, so the fine would become then $45. If there's a third violation or a fourth or a fifth, that would add $30, so that would be $60 per violation within a 12-month period. Staff is exploring moving to a local adjudication process. So this, as part of that review, would be an assessment, a reassessment of all the fine structures within the ordinances for the village. Just to give you a quick kind of rundown of comparable towns, since we last spoke, Downers Grove has passed a ordinance where they allow Class 1 and 2 bike paths are allowed on streets and shared youth paths, bike paths. They decided that Class 3s are restricted to their streets only. Elmhurst is considering a local ordinance. They haven't passed one yet, but they use Illinois Vehicle Code, and they have a code that restricts any type of bicycle movement in their downtown kind of business district. Darien has approved an ordinance in late July that says low-speed bikes are prohibited on sidewalks, bike paths, on the street only. Low-speed scooters can be operated on sidewalks and trails within the city. Willowbrook has an ordinance in place that restricts manual power only when the e-bike is used on public sidewalk, bike path, or multi-use paths. E-scooters are not allowed on sidewalks or multi-use paths. Glen Ellen has an ordinance in place that they allow e-bikes to operate on village streets and sidewalks, except in their downtown designated business district. Very similar to Hinsdale. Hinsdale does require bikes, e-bikes, scooters to be licensed by the village. It prohibits the use of e-bikes on sidewalks, must be used on the streets, but then they also restrict all use in the defined business area. And that is really the end of the presentation. Are there any questions?
Any questions of anyone? I do have a question.
Yes.
Anyone else, but I'd like to ask them, you sure?
Yes, Mayor.
Can you go back a couple slides on
Sure.
the fee structure? I'm still struggling with the fee.
The fee structure?
Sorry.
That's okay.
I think our $30 fee is low. And I'm not huge about fees, but I think that you have what could be serious, even reckless
Sure.
activity. And that concerns me.
Sure.
And we have to enforce now something that, just really could cause some serious harm, damage, all those other things. I could just go on and on. And could you show us what Darien actually, so it says here in Darien, and I know they shared with us, their fines are no less than $25.
Right.
And no more than 750.
Yes.
I'm sure 750 has to encompass something
Yes.
much larger or whatever.
Right.
However, I just feel very strongly, I've shared this and now I'm asking for consideration because just in the comments that have been sent in and we have sometimes very deliberate, reckless activity.
Sure.
I just feel that, and maybe hoping to have someone not choose to go down that path by having a fine that may make them make a different decision, a better decision.
Sure.
So that is what I am asking our board to consider. I would recommend nothing less than $50. And I'm not sure about the $750, but that to me, even $50 is low, especially when we've had neighbors tell us that there's been students and things that are in number, 5, 10, 15, you know. Granted, we're going to roll out an education piece, and I'm really hoping that it'll deter from some of the activity that we're seeing, you know, in and along our roads, our sidewalks, our streets. So I just throw that out. I just wanted to have us discuss that because I feel it's important. I don't know where anyone else feels. If you are fine with 25, I mean, I'll go with whatever the majority is, but I would ask for consideration to increase that fee. This is going to take time, and it also takes enforcement from our police officers.
Yes.
Mayor, if I could just provide some additional background. The 750 in the code of Downers Grove, their municipal code, Darien, excuse me. I believe that is the general penalty, right? So every town, including Woodridge, has a general penalty ordinance. There are some fines that are set forth in a particular ordinance, but the rule, unless specifically designated, is that the fine can be no more than X. And so in some towns it's 750, some towns it's 1,000. And for Darien and Downers Grove, since I referenced them, that amount is 750. And also for those of you keeping score at home, Woodridge also is capped at $750.
Okay. So ours would be, I'm asking for consideration to change that no less than $50 and no more than $750, as Attorney Pat has clarified for us. Any discussion on this? Anyone have any issue with changing it to $50? Anyone? Okay. So if we could please consider that and change that to 50 and then 750. Trustee Page?
This is new. This is something that affects primarily kids. And I would love to say that everybody knows every ordinance we pass, and they don't. And I get concerned that we are over-fining without the education piece first. At least if you get a speeding ticket, you took the driver's ed class, so you knew it was coming. We're fining kids and their parents without the education piece first. So I'm comfortable even with 30, but 50 seems excessive for something that people don't know about. The majority of the citizens do not know about yet.
I appreciate that very much. I do feel it is an education. And currently, how would we handle that as police officers? I mean, I don't think day one we're going to be out issuing.
No, I think the way I envision it, Mayor, is obviously if you have an egregious violation, I think that could warrant a citation right off the bat. My vision of how we enforce this would be is let's really work in the education piece and not just go out there and start handing out tickets. That really does no good. I think if you put an ordinance to Trustee Page's point, let's do some education. It would be stopping people that we see in violation, even people that aren't in violation, but maybe they don't know what the ordinance is, and handing out. We can reference pamphlets earlier with the ordinance highlights and requirements on it. I think we've talked about working with our school district, because that's how I think we can really connect with a lot of our parents in 68 and the other school districts that we have students in. If we can get some on their kind of e-news or their notes home, I think that's how we're really going to really be successful in our education pieces. Not only that, with the wonderful work that Jamie does on our village website, on our social media, a lot of her colorful, beautiful posts do generate a lot of traffic. You can tell by the likes that we get. We can tell by the loves that we can get. You can tell even by the supportive comments that we get on our social media. And I think a lot of people do drive to the village website for their information as well. Yes.
Totally
Yes.
agree with that. I just feel it's a low fine. I'm not out and about fine.
Sure.
However, it is just what I feel is going to take some time to educate, and we will take that role. But also we have discretion as our officers. We can't be everywhere, first of all. So many of the information, or much of the information, we're going to get from maybe neighbors calling and saying, I just encountered this on the road or the sidewalk in my neighborhood or by the park or whatever it may be. And then it'll be up to then our officers, depending upon where we're at in this process, and working towards the adjudication process as well.
You mentioned the Park District, and inadvertently, I think we would work with them too, because they have a lot of programming. They have a lot of connects in the community. Let's not reinvent the wheel. Let's work with our community partners to really push the education piece on this. Yes.
So I just feel like it's just something we should look at just overall, but we're going to be very mindful and conscientious as we are with all that we do.
Sure.
So, because we do know these are young people, most of them. So anyone else have any comment? Anyone else? This is something that we'll be voting on, so. Okay. All right, Attorney Pat.
Oh, I was just gonna say, if someone wants to, the ordinance that is presented to the board today has the second ordinance that Chief was talking about relating to the fine, has the amount of $30 for each violation, and then subsequent increased violation fines, as the chief indicated. If a trustee wants to make a motion consistent with the comments of the mayor, they would make a motion with section 2 of that ordinance amended. Those of you who are looking on your packets, it's page 37 of 94 in your packet.
That's item B. So first would be A, which is the actual ordinance itself for the electric bicycle and scooter ordinance. And then B is the
Fine structure. Yes, and so if someone wanted to propose a different amount than is set forth in the proposed ordinance, they would have to make a motion to approve as with the following amendment and indicate what that amendment is.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions for the chief? Any follow-up or anything? Okay, so we have before us Administrator Stonich. Item A, ordinance 2025-29, electric bicycle and scooter ordinance. Going to ask for a motion to approve ordinance 2025-29, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Trustee Page, and a second.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Antilles. Any discussion on this item? Seeing none, if our clerk would please call the roll.
Trustee Nekovar,
Aye.
Trustee Page,
Aye.
Trustee Martinez.
Aye.
Trustee Kagan, Trustee Annalise.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item B is ordinance 2025-31. This is an amendment to the e-bike and e-scooter village fine structure. And as Attorney Pat had referenced earlier, if a board wishes to make a motion that is a fine that is different than what the proposed $30 minimum fine is, they would need to do so.
Would you help us walk through that? I'm going to go ahead. So we do have before us ordinance 2025-31, an amendment to e-bike and e-scooter village fine structure. Attorney Pat, could you guide us
So
through?
there can be two different motions. There can be a motion to approve as presented, or a motion to approve with the following amendment, and then you state what you think the amendment should be. So if that is changing the section relating to the fine from $30 to $50 as the initial fine, you'd state that and we would make the appropriate change.
Anyone? Yes, please. Trustee Antilles?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to amend with the following,
A motion to approve the ordinance with the following amendment.
With the following amendment.
Okay.
From $30 to $50.
All right, so again, just so the So the record is clear that the proposal would be to change the language in that line that says $30 for the first offense. You want that changed to $50. Is that your proposed amendment?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so then you need to have a second for that as amended.
So can I ask another question though, before we go any further?
Certainly.
Do we want to add that up to that 750? Do we need to do that? Would that help us in any way?
Well, you already have a maximum penalty under the village code of $750. The change would be in, again, under section 2 of the ordinance, which again is page 37 of your packet, a fine in the amount of $50 for each violation listed therein. And then the line below it where it says the $30 fine is for the first offense, you would change that to the $50 fine.
And then how about the scale?
Well, you can, again, that's the motion, trustee Andal's motion, unless she wants to amend it. Nobody seconded it yet, so she can. Increases it by $15 or $30 for each subsequent violation. Do you want to continue to go up in those denominations, or did you want it to increase?
If there was a second violation or a third?
Oh, continue with the escalation as it's already been written.
Okay, so again, I'm going to read it just so everyone is clear on what the proposed amended motion is. Under section 2, a fine amount of $50 for each violation listed therein. The $50 fine is for the first offense and can be increased by $15 or $30 for subsequent violations in a 12-month span.
Correct.
So now you need a second for
Now,
that.
yes, I'm going to ask for a second for trustee.
Second.
Thank you, trustee Martinez. Any discussion on the item? Our clerk would please call the roll. We don't need it.
Trustee Nekovar,
Aye.
trustee Page,
No.
trustee Martinez,
Aye.
trustee Kagan, trustee Annalise. Motion passes.
Just so the record. For the record's clear, Mr. Clerk, it passes as amended.
Passes as amended.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Next item, Mayor and Board, is ordinance 2025-36. It's an ordinance for the creation of a Class A2 liquor license, and Andy Trucco, our Assistant to the Village Administrator, will be up for a presentation.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. So I'm going to quickly go through this. This was presented to you 2 weeks ago at our study session. There were a few changes made to the study session presentation as it relates to the type of liquor license category that is before you on the agenda. Cece from Claire's is also with us today in the audience if anyone has any questions for her. But after the meeting last week, we took back the language, and I'm going to pull up the language that we have tonight before you. So after our meeting that we had 2 weeks ago, it seemed as though the consensus from the board was that there was support for the to-go wine as well as these wine-related events. However, there was some hesitation on to-go liquor, mixed drinks, and beer. So after speaking with Clara's, it seemed as though the request really was for the wine to go as well as these wine events to be permissible per our liquor code. So the red line language that you see before you today just cleans the language up to take out language that we had that related to tastings to state simply that they're wine-related events. The language also allows these events to be conducted no more than 15 times in a 12-month period, but will allow them to be conducted during the authorized hours of business instead of limiting it to certain times. these tastings or these wine events shall be separated from the remainder of the premises. And then just clean up language classifying these as events so there was no confusion there. In terms of the license fee cost, the amount is still there at $5,000. That is just based on a similar license category that we do have on the books. And so those were the proposed changes that you will see before you in the proposed ordinance. And I'm open to any questions that you may have at this time.
Thank you very much for the information. Yes, trustee Page?
And just to confirm what I think I heard at the
Yeah.
last meeting, we have another liquor license if they chose to want to do carry out for liquor or for something other than wine.
Correct.
And someone can hold more than one liquor license.
They can hold more than one, yes, but it would be both fees.
Perfect, thank you.
Anyone else, please? No other questions, so thank you very much, Andy.
Sure.
Appreciate all the information and the hard work here. And Cece, we welcome you again. So we have before us ordinance 2025-36, an ordinance for the creation of a Class A2 liquor license. Going to ask for a motion to approve the ordinance.
So moved.
Thank you, trustee Page, and a second. Second. Thank you, trustee Antilles. Any discussion on this item? If our clerk would please call the roll.
Trustee Page,
Aye.
trustee Martinez, trustee Kagan, trustee Annalise.
Aye.
Trustee Knuckleberg.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Next item D, Resolution 2025-88. It's a resolution authorizing the village administrator to execute a contract with CDS Office Technologies for the purchase of replacement in-car computers and related software and equipment.
We have before us Resolution 2025-88. I'm going to ask for a motion to approve that ordinance.
So moved.
Thank you. Our resolution, excuse me. Thank you, trustee Martinez, and a second.
Second.
Thank you, trustee Kagan. Any discussion on this item? Our clerk would please call the roll.
Trustee Martinez.
Aye.
Trustee Kagan. Trustee Annalise.
Aye.
Trustee Knuckleberg.
Aye.
Trustee Page.
Aye.
Motion carries.
With no further business to discuss this evening, we do have the need to after adjournment, go into executive session. So we would need to convene an executive session to review and discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body and collective negotiation matters between the public body and its employees or their representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees. Going to ask please for a motion to adjourn our regular meeting and go into executive session. A motion, please. So moved. Thank you, trustee Antilles. A second.
Second.
Thank you, trustee Neckavar. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? The motion carries. We are adjourned from this meeting at 8:11 p.m.